So I just received my K802 Android head stereo. In addition, a couple days ago, I also got the wiring harness, a USB cord, the mounting kit, and there's a right over here. We got the antenna adapter. This is not included. This is going to be application specific. You have to buy all this stuff separately. So we're going to go ahead and see what's in the box today. Get my knife out here. Should not be cutting this one-handed, but do as I say, don't do as I do. I'm an experienced pro at this. Let's see what's in the box. We got ourselves the stereo wiring harness. So you're going to solder this or butt connector. I prefer to solder. So that's going to get soldered onto that piece right there that's going to hook up to the vehicle. This makes it very simple and easy to install everything. So we got some instructions and warranty information. So this is from ZHNN. We got ourselves a checklist of everything that's supposed to be in the box. And it looks like we got a couple of brackets. I've never used these in stereo installs. That mounting kit will usually have, but we'll see where we're at today. I might have to use them because this is going to be a little bit bigger. This is a 9.1 inch screen. Excuse me, I get this out. So 9.1 inch screen. They're pretty thin. I may have to use those brackets to get it to fit. So I've never had to use these on these imported stereos before, but I have one other Android head, a 7-inch, that I installed in a Ford truck, an F350. This is going into an F150. So this supports a lot of things, Bluetooth, USB connections. Not mentioned is I also got a backup security or backup camera monitor that I'm going to wire in. So everything should go pretty smoothly here now that I have everything here to finish the job. This is also supposed to have GPS, so we're going to see a GPS antenna here in this package somewhere, which I'm not seeing right now, but I know it was on my other one. I do see the connector for it right there. Oh, there it is. It's right there in the package, that little box right there. So we'll add GPS to a truck. We're just replacing a factory stereo in the vehicle. So I am going to go ahead and get this soldered together, and I'll show you some of the connectors when I get back. Soldering is definitely the way to go if you can do it. It gives you a much more solid connection. I've had butt connectors come apart before, so I discourage using those. Solder, shrink tubing, and makes for a very neat professional installation. So let me get to that and I'll see you back. So this is the pre-installation preparation. I've got my heat shrink tubing out. I've already put heat shrink tubing on all my connectors ready to solder together, along with some bigger pieces to help tame up my harness. For the most part, it's going to be matching up color to color. You are going to need to check with your harness manufacturer. These actually have little bitty letters on it that tell you exactly what they go to, but there is also a color chart explaining on what it goes to match up your colors to the function. Each of these labels, or each of these wires, are labeled, ready to do it. My experience with these stereos pretty much match up color to color, but do check, don't assume. I've done lots of stereo installs, and every once in a while you do get something that doesn't quite match up. So you have functions on there that you're not going to use, such as on these you have what they call key. You have key 1 and key 2 right there. That's if you have steering wheel controls. I don't believe this truck does. This is actually the harness for the reversing light. So it's used in conjunction with one of these other wires on here that's marked reverse. So that'll wire up. We'll get to that a little bit later. These other two wires on here are your Wi-Fi antennas. Now, my experience is you cut those back to about that long right there, and you get better Wi-Fi reception, much better Wi-Fi reception. So do not, even if you're not installing the camera, don't forget to install that on the back of the stereo. Cut those back if you are not getting good Wi-Fi reception. One of these days I'm going to actually try to hook it up to a righteous Wi-Fi antenna just to see if that works any better. I've got dozens of them around, and I just need to break one out and see if I can make it work. I will report back on that. There are some other ones. You might not use a lot of these wires at all. If you're doing an amplifier, you're going to use this harness right here and hook up right to your amplifier. This comes out. This is the preamp out. In addition, it's got some other inputs on here for the video and outputs, so you can hook it up to a second monitor if you want to do some backseat monitors, some inputs if you want to put in your PlayStation. I think you can also do a front forward-facing camera as well. I'm working on that with my other truck, my F350. So again, stay tuned for that. All right, we're back. Stereo's in. Got everything installed here. Pretty simple to hook up. I got my backup camera installed. I did install a USB port right there, although I do have a second one popped out. They do have two USB ports, so I'm considering cutting into the fascia here, installing it right there. Haven't decided yet. Generally what I do with that second one is just load a USB onto it with all my music. But the install looks really good. This is the 9-inch unit, 9.1 inches, I think. So if you want an easy install, get the 7-inch. I wanted a little bit bigger for this, and then this 2006 F-150, I think this was actually a really good size to go with. No interference with dials, a little bit of interference with the airbag light, if that's important to you. So do consider that. One of the nice things about this is, like, say I turn on my lights, you can see how the light control comes on and off when you turn your headlights on. So everything works well with that. The GPS app works really well. I just took that antenna, stuck it up on underneath the dashboard right there. There's just plastic in an F-150 right above it, so it doesn't interfere with anything at all. You can download your maps if you're not going to be doing to a hotspot. So you can just come in there, select your area, and download your map right to your stereo. So another issue that you'll come across is when you first get the stereo, it's going to say KPH right there. Go back. It'll say KPH. You do have to get a download from the company, which I just updated. It's pretty simple to install. You go into your files, launch the app, and it updates your launcher and changes it to miles per hour. Customer support on this is really good. They're outstanding. I've never seen better customer service than from these stereo companies. So that is one big thing, over any of these others. They want you to love these stereos. So if for anything else, you can go with that. They'll talk you through any issues you have. You just simply send them a message on Facebook or send them an email, and they get back to you. This case with this launcher took, I think it was 20 minutes to reply back. They sent me a link to the download, put it on a USB, and came right over to it. One of the beautiful things about these Android units, and I do have one in my F-150, or my F-350. This is an F-150. This is the bigger unit here. Boss wanted one in his truck, so I went with it. You got to do what the boss tells you to do. These Android units is you can download apps to it, so you're not stuck with the same head unit all the time. You can download the things you want to it. I put Pandora on here. It works really well. I have to put that one on mine. Any of these other apps, you can just go right to the Play Store and download everything that you want. You can watch YouTube on here if you want. So let's see here. I'm trying to see where the Play Store is. You've probably seen it before I do. There it is right there. Download all the apps you want for it. Torque, I highly suggest Torque. You do have to buy a ELM 327 monitor to get that. I have that on my F350. Don't have it on this one yet. Boss isn't so much into the heads-up display, but do look at my my other videos on these head units, and you'll see how well they work. And there's a lot of them that talk about that. Torque is the Torque Pro is what I use. $7 for the app. Allows you to, like a OBD2 monitor, those little monitors that you plug into your car, and allows you to reset codes, read codes, and all that. I highly suggest that for anybody really wanting to get into repairs or serious about monitoring the functions on your car. So you go with that. One of the things, again, because this is for the hotels, we monitor all our hotel functions, security cameras on this. It allows you to do that. Let's see here. We'll go show you, give you a live view here of where I'm at. So I'm right there in that. So you see the F-150s right here. We'll give you a heads up light just to show you that. You can see that I'm live here. That's my F-350, the other one I have it in. Great stereo. Music sound is going to be comparable with just about anything else you can get on the market. This truck, I do need to upgrade the speakers. I can't play any music, unfortunately, because you get flagged for doing that. You can't play any copyright music. But trust me, sounds great. Like I said, we got Pandora on here. Make Bluetooth calls. You can do a live display of your phone. It has the CarPlay on here, and it's got the equivalent for the Android. Your Android phones, I use a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 here. So, and I can tell you it works really well. Other than that, you won't be disappointed with the stereo. You will have something that you're going to love. I mean, I can't say it any clearer than that. These are great stereos. I love them. Support is fantastic, and you really won't go wrong. If you know how to operate anything Android, you'll recognize a lot of these functions where you can go through and select your different features on here. You can see where I just downloaded that app on there, and it was just that APK launcher. All it was, came right up. You can change your wallpapers on here. You hold down here. I've done it on this one, but haven't done it since I updated the thing. But it does work. You can put custom photos, any other thing you want on there. You can even download and put your logo on here. So if you're into, depending on how heavy you want to get into your setup here. So when you reboot your phone, there is a way to do animated apps on here as well. Let's see here. So if we just do a reboot real quick, you'll see the Ford logo comes right up, and you can select between any of them. It's got a lot of vehicles that you probably will only see in pictures. If you want Lamborghini, Ferrari, Skoda, which doesn't exist in the United States. It's really big everywhere else. I happen to have one of the very few Skoda vehicles in the United States. So that's where I recognize that from. Stereo comes up pretty quick. It doesn't reboot every time you turn on the vehicle. I just made it do a manual reboot, but say I take my key out, I have to open a door to get my stereo to shut off. So we'll go with the key in, turn on, and you can just see how fast that comes up. So really, I don't know what else I can tell you guys other than you're going to love this thing. You will need to buy the stereo installation kit, the wiring harness, the antenna adapter if you need it. This 2006 F-150 did not need it. I did have to do an adapter in my F-350. Just so you know that this is extra, so you have to buy that. This is what the factory comes in the box, so you can have that. The camera, rear view camera, which this one has, works really well. This was extra. Love it. Great feature. Boss didn't ask for that, but I went ahead and got that on there for him so that he won't complain about it in the future. So, but fairly easy install. The big thing will be soldering your wiring harness together. I recommend that. Nothing really else I can add to this.